everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to say greetings to you all. I'm excited about being with you. You know, I start the same way whenever I am in front of a crowd or on my radio shows. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it. Give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you and to share some ideas as we celebrate this stretch conference. And I am excited about being a part of this prestigious and incredible event. I want to thank our dear friends, my dear friends, the pastors, Bishop Shirley and Pastor Tim Stanfield, for inviting me. My dear friends, we've been able to fellowship together and be on a number of events that they have hosted, and each time it's always a glorious and grand and exciting time. And we've been friends for a number of years, so I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with them. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Bershawn Shaw, who is an unstoppable warrior, and I am so impressed, always inspired by her story and all that she has overcome and what she has done for others in the process of sharing her story. So bravo to all the above. I want to thank all of you for letting me be here. And I want to thank all of you who listen to me every day, Monday through Friday at 8:20 on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell on praise stations around America. And I'm so grateful that Dr. Kathy Hughes contacted me and said, we want you to bring your show you've been doing before Steve Harvey every morning for many years. I wanted to bring it to Radio 1, and so I'm now part of the Radio 1 family, and I'm grateful for that. And then I want to thank all of you who listen to me on Sirius XM Radio, where I have the Willie Jolly Wealthy Ways show on channel 141, and I'm proud to say it's the #1 self-help show in the country now, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you for making it so, and thank you for your support and for listening and for sharing that and the podcast, the Willie Jolly Wealthy Ways podcast, who listen to that and those who listen to it not only here in our area, but globally. So we're grateful. I am ready to just get in this message today about stretch. It's time to stretch, and it's time to grow to the next level. And I hope you are ready to grow. I'm encouraging you to take out a pen, a piece of paper, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, somewhere where you can capture some notes, because I believe a short pencil or a short tap on your screen is better than a long memory any day of the week. Because I was speaking one time, and a lady came up to me after my speech, and she had pages of notes. And I was impressed. I said, wow, let me see what I said that inspired you so. And I looked on all of the notes. There was nothing I said on any of those notes. But that was because what I said created a catalyst moment where she released all of these ideas and things that had been bottled up inside of her. And we kind of like took the cap off, uncorked it, and boy, she went to work. That lady's going to have great success in her business and in her life. And so I want to encourage you to capture the note, whether it comes from me or whether it comes from something inside of you that has just been waiting to be born, to be birthed. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited about this. Also, want to make sure you know that we have some resources that most people say, where can I get your resources? I want to make sure we'll let you know before the end that there's a place. I'll give it to you now. If you'll go to wjspeaks.com/success, wjspeaks.com/success, you can get access to all my books. It only takes a minute to change your life. A setback is a setup for a comeback. Turn setbacks into greenbacks. An attitude of excellence. And our marriage book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. You know, my wife and I have a popular marriage book, or have popular marriage television program on Monday nights on Facebook Live and on Instagram Live. And so Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast. So you can access that at A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, A Jolley Marriage on Instagram, on LinkedIn Live. And all of our books will be available on that wjspeaks.com/success, as well as my library, my box, which I recommend. We have my friend Malcolm Beach, who was one of the great entrepreneurs who contacted us just this week and said, I got your box because after all the millions I've made, I want to make more. And I've been looking and watching and wanting to get that box. So we have the box available there, as well as some other good free resources, as well as some that you can invest in yourself. So go to wjspeaks.com/success. I want to talk to you today about 3 Ds to determine your destiny. As we celebrate this stretch conference, we celebrate this stretch leadership day and leadership days, because it's been a number of days. And I want to just applaud again Bishop Shirley and Pastor Tim for having the vision to do this. And that's what we're going to talk about: leadership, as well as 3 Ds to determine your destiny as we stretch. I love this breakout of the word stretch. Saints tenaciously, reaching, expanding, thinking, creating harmoniously. It will make you stretch. And how many are ready for a really good year? How many of y'all need a real good decade? I really want to ask you this question. How many want more in the future than you had in the past? How many want to do more in the future than you've done in the past? How many want to have more in the future than you had in the past? How many want more money in the future than you had in the past? Come on now. It's okay. It's good. It's a good thing. Money maketh all things well. That's what the word says. But you know what? The Bible says in Deuteronomy that the Lord, God, gives us the ability, the capacity, the tools to create wealth, so we can establish his kingdom on the earth. Hard to give if you ain't got. Am I right about it? So what God is saying, that I give you the power, the tools, the abilities to create wealth, so you can establish my kingdom. You can be a blessing to a ministry. You can be a blessing to a kid who might need a scholarship. You can be a blessing to someone in your family who has blessed you, and you want to bless them in return. I don't know what God has for you to do with the wealth that he has said he would take the wealth from the wicked and put it on his people. But whatever that comes your way, you got to be responsible and be a good steward and know what to do with it. So it's got to be understood that money maketh all things well, but you got to understand how, once you get the money, to be a good steward and then to make the most of it. We're going to talk about 3 Ds to determine your destiny. Now, destiny is a word, interesting word we hear often in church programs, but destiny sometimes is a misconstrued word, because we think that it's some place that is out there that just is waiting for us to show up. And so what I want to say is destiny is more than that. I love what Barack Obama said. Destiny is not something to be waited on. It is something to be achieved and something to be worked for. And you got to go to work if you want to reach your destiny. You got to do some things. It doesn't fall in your lap. It's something you must make a commitment that you're going to do the work, that you're going to do the action. So 3 Ds to determine your destiny is critically important to the longevity, not just of you, but also of your lineage. Someone asked me in an interview not too long ago, they said, Dr. Jolley, what's your biggest goal? What's your biggest goal? And it took me no time. I didn't have to think about it because I had it clearly focused in my brain. I said, oh, that's easy. My biggest goal is that 100 years from now, some child will walk into a room and see a picture of me and my wife, and walk up to the picture and say, great granddaddy, great grandmama, thank you for what you did back in 2020, 2021, 2022, to make it possible for us to have a business, that make it possible for us to have a home, make it possible for us to have revenue that come into our home, and education resources so that we could continue the legacy. That's my goal. Someone said the great ones will plant trees in their 80s that take 60 years to grow. That's the kind of thinking, though, that is next level. See, the Japanese, they don't just set goals for a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. They set goals for 100 years. And that's the kind of thinking we want. You know, I'm working on a new book about the difference between wealthy people and rich people. And that this is a critical mindset shift if you're going to be all that God made you to be. And it's not just for the present. It's for the longevity. You know, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's grandchildren. But we have been conditioned with a certain kind of thinking about money that doesn't really line up with the scriptures, because Jesus didn't dwell on money. He said it was a tool. You know, when they said, where the tax is going to come, he said, go find it in a fish. It's just a tool. Money is a tool to help you to get some of the things you want and some of the things. So you shouldn't worship it. We should worship the Lord and use money. And that is critical, because some people will use people and worship money. Well, we should use money and worship the God who created people. Am I right about it? So let's talk about the 5 levels of thinking about money that we see in our society. Before I get to the message of 3 Ds for determining our destiny, I just give you a taste of the little taste of the new book. That there are 5 levels of thinking about money that we see in our society. The first level is the day-to-day mindset, money mindset, the day-to-day money mindset. That's the people who are thinking of money every day the same way. Every day. They typically are standing on a street corner with a cardboard sign that says, give me enough money to buy some food today. Every day, it's the same process. Give me enough money for today. We often see these people are indigent, or homeless maybe, but they got a day-to-day mindset. That's as far as their mind can say, just give me enough money for just today. If I can get through today, I'll try it again tomorrow. Then you got the second level, which is the month to month. That's the people who are living month to month. Typically, you'll see this with people who are maybe on public assistance, on welfare or SNAP. That every month it's the same process. Did my check come in? Did the money get in yet? At the end of the month, they're waiting on the money to come into their account. So you got the day-to-day, then you got the month-to-month, or the monthly. Then you got the yearly, year-to-year, which typically is the middle class. Now the middle class, they live year-to-year. They are waiting for their cost of living increase. Did I get a raise this year more than I had last year? And they're living year to year. But then you get the rich. The rich tend to think decade to decade. We often see this in athletes, sports figures, who might sign a 10-year contract to play baseball, $100 million. And we all applaud because we're happy for them. They're $100 million. But what happens after 10 years? Unfortunately, statistics show that over 70% of professional athletes are broke 5 years after retirement, because they were focused so much on just the decade that they didn't think the long term. So we got the day-to-day mindset, indigent, the month-to-month, typically poor, the year-to-year, middle class. Then we got the rich, decade to decade, but then we got the wealthy. The wealthy. The wealthy think generation to generation to generation. They are creating wealth. Now, what's the difference between being rich and being wealthy? Rich is what you do. Wealthy is what you own. That generates revenue. It's cool. This book is going to blow people off. You know, you see the commercial where somebody's brain explodes, the little meme where somebody's brain is exploding. This is going to blow brains open, because rich is what you do and wealthy is what you own. One more thing. God smiles on the wealthy. He frowns hands on the rich. You see it throughout the scriptures. The rich are castigated. The rich young ruler who came, Jesus said to him, he loves his possessions more than he loves God. God smiles on the wealthy. He says, I'll give you the power to create wealth so you can establish my kingdom here on earth. He talks about wealth, that you are supposed to be diligent so that you can create wealth. So we are encouraging you to not think day to day, month to month, year to year, even decade to decade, but generation to generation. Now, my goal for this book is that everybody who I've talked about will be able to move up just one level. So the people who are indigent, if I can get this book to the people who are indigent, if I can get them up to just a 30-day, I'll say we've achieved something. And if I can get the 30-day folks up to the middle class, then we've achieved something. I can get the middle class folks up to the decade, the rich, then I think we achieved. And I get the rich folks up to the wealthy, then I know we achieved something. And then what we'll find, the wealthy people will become the uber wealthy. That's our goal in this book. So the book will hopefully be out early next year. So creating a leadership mindset as you impact people with your gifts and your abilities and your skills and what God has given you to do. 3 D's for determining your destiny. Number 1, D. You got to dream. Dream. Dreams are the seed for success. If you took a corn seed, dug a hole, put the corn seed in, covered it with dirt, and watered it, it will grow into a corn stalk. If you took an acorn and dug a hole, put the acorn in and covered it with dirt, and watered it, it will grow into an oak tree. The same is true for your dreams. God gives you dreams. He gives you dreams to dream big dreams. He gives you dreams to make a difference, dreams to do incredible things with. Dreams. Gotta have a dream. To do the incredible, you must dream the impossible. You gotta have a dream. Every day is a new day, and those who dream big dreams are the ones who will make big things happen. Michael Jordan was asked in an interview what made him such a great basketball player. His answer was when he was in high school, he got cut from the basketball team for not being good enough. He went home that night and dreamed about doing impossible things with the basketball because he wanted to prove to the coach that the coach had made a mistake. Once he saw it in here, he tried it out there. And once he tried it, he knew he could do it. Duke Ellington was asked how he created such great music. He said, I kept on dreaming. Muhammad Ali was asked how he revolutionized the boxing industry so people would flock to see him fight. He said, I kept on dreaming. I created a personality that people either loved or they hated. Those who loved me came to see me win. Those who hated me came to see me lose. In the meantime, every seat was taken. Helen Keller was deaf and blind, but dreamed of becoming a communicator. Deaf and blind, but had a teacher who taught this deaf and blind woman to talk. How do you do that? I don't know to this day. That's amazing to me. But she was taught to communicate, went on to become one of the greatest women the world has ever seen, a great communicator. And she became a global ambassador for not letting anything limit you. When she was coming back from a speaking tour, and a reporter asked her, Miss Keller, is there anything worse than blindness? She said, yes. Having sight, but no vision. Good God Almighty. Having sight but no vision. You got to have a vision. Scripture says, without a vision, a people perish. But with a vision, a people will flourish. You got to have a vision, a dream. Now, let me tell you real quick the different types of vision. Because there are different types of vision, and you want to make sure you don't get tied up, tangled up in this thought that there's only one type of vision. Without a vision, a people perish. What does that mean? That I got to be able to see? No, that's not the vision God's talking about. Because see, that's one type of vision. That's eyesight. Now, it's good to have eyesight, but Helen Keller proved you don't have to have eyesight to to make a difference. Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Jose Feliciano. You can go down a list of people who were not sighted, but did great things with their life. So it's not eyesight that makes you great. No. Well, then is it hindsight? Being able to remember the things in the past. Well, the problem with dealing and dwelling and talking about the past is people get stuck in the past. What somebody did to them 20 years ago, what somebody said to them that limited them 30 years ago, how a teacher treated them bad, and they get stuck. Now, the past is a place of reference. It's never designed to be a place of residence. Let me say that again. It's a place of reference. Learn from the past, but don't live there. You're not supposed to make it a place of residence. There's a reason in your car why your windshield is this big and your rearview mirror is this big. You're supposed to spend more time on where you're looking forward than where you've been. No, it's not eyesight and not hindsight. What is vision? What is the vision we're talking about? It's a mixture of two sights, insight and foresight. Insight, that still small voice within us that gives us direction, protection, reflection, introspection. That inner voice that tells us what we should do, that gives us some insight and gives us keen focus. But you know what most people do about that inner voice? They turn the volume down. They turn the volume down of their inner voice and listen to all the negative outer voices. People who tell you what's not possible, what couldn't be done or can't be done, or somebody else tried and they didn't make it. And you listen to that rather than listen to that voice that's inside you. How many ever had a time when you thought of somebody and the phone ringer was down? How many ever have a time when you're riding down the street, something says you turn off here, this is not my exit, turn off here, and you follow that and find out later that there was a big traffic jam where you were going to be going. Wow, I'm glad I turned off. That inner voice, I'm encouraging you to turn up the volume of that inner voice. Some might call it intuition, but it's bigger, it's greater than that. Take that insight and you mix it with your foresight, calling forth those things that be not as though they are. You got to speak into being what you want to achieve. You got to speak it into being. You got to talk about it and try to really crystallize that thing that you are saying you want to achieve. That's where the dream comes. The first D is dream. You got to have that insight and that foresight and put it together. And that's where the vision, the real vision, the vision comes. I love this. What is vision? It's seeing things that other people don't see that are clearly in your view. Some people go to the beach and they see sand, they see people in swimming trunks or bikinis or whatever it is, and they see. But there was a man in California who went to the beach. He saw something different. He saw sand. He said, there's a lot of sand. A lot of sand. And rather than seeing just sand, build sand castles, he took that sand and he took it back to his laboratory. And what he did was to extract an element out of the sand called silicon that was needed or was the key ingredient to create computers. Silicon chip. And he became a billionaire because he saw sand, not just for its sand, but for its possibility. What are your possibilities? What are the possibilities for your life? What are the possibilities for your future? Have you set your goals? Let me read a couple things for you. Where do dreams come from? Dreams, where do they come from? Dr. Robert Schuller, noted minister and author, said that dreams do not come out of the blue, but rather come out of the mind of God. God matches his dream with the dreamer, someone who will receive it, respect it, embrace it, claim it, live for it, and be willing to die for it. God gives to human one of the greatest gifts, a dream. Yet it is up to us to receive it and let it grow, or to reject it and kill it. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. But I believe that where there is a vision, the people will flourish. We must dare to dream, and we're going to dare to win. Got to dream. Got to dream big dreams, incredible dreams, impossible dreams. I love this about dreaming. I love this about dreaming. In my book, in this book, in two books, I got it in two books. It only takes a minute to change your life. And in my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks. There's a story, and this one is the full story. The quote is in my first book, but this is the story. Imagine, if you would, the year is 1944. The campus is Morehouse College. It's a hot, sweltering day in the middle of the year, in the middle of the summer, and there's a zooming in. We're going to zoom into the president's office. His name is Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays. Dr. Mays, great and noted philanthropist, philosopher, educator, minister, who is the president of Morehouse College. On this hot, sweltering day, he's dignified, sitting at his desk, working. There's a knock on the door. He says, "Come in." The big wooden door swings open, and in the doorway is a man and a teenage boy. Dr. Mays jumps to his feet, goes to grab the hand of the man, Martin Luther King Sr., Daddy King. He said, "Reverend King, come on in. So good to see you." Daddy King steps in and says, "Dr. Mays, I know you're busy, so I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I just came to introduce you to my son, ML. Oh, his real name is Martin Luther King Jr., but we call him ML. He's 15 years old and he just graduated from high school. And he's going to go to college here at Morehouse College in the fall. 15 years old, going to college here. Good boy. He's a bright boy. Bright boy. And they never give me a stitch of trouble. But I'm here because I need a big favor. Yeah, I need a big favor. No, I don't need tuition. Bigger than that. No, I don't need room and board. It's more critical than that. I came here today to ask you, would you teach my son how to dream big dreams? Would you teach my boy how to dream impossible dreams? Dr. Mays took on the task and gave young ML a piece and said, "Read this piece every day, it'll change your life." And young ML read it every day, it changed his life. And one day I got hold of it, and we saw the result of that piece. Once you hear it, you'll understand, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in 1963, in the famous speech entitled, "I Have a," that's right, "a Dream." And one day I got hold of that piece and I started reading it every day, and people were impressed with how my life changed. I was impressed because I read that piece. And then I put that piece in my first book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, on page 11. And people started emailing me as the book went on to the bestsellers list. And people would email me and reach out to me and say, "I read that piece on page 11, changed my life." As far away as Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, people would say, "I read that piece, it changed my life." So profound, yet so simple. Simply reads, it must be borne in mind. It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life does not lie in not reaching your goals. No. The tragedy lies in not having a goal to reach for. It is not a calamity to die with your dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideal, but it is a disaster to have no ideal to capture. It is not a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Not failure. No, not failure, but low aim. That's sin. I'm encouraging you, and I put it also in my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, with the whole story. Dream. You got to dream. And the bigger the dream, the bigger the rewards. And understand, when you dream, there'll always be some people who are not going to support your dream. I call them dream busters. And believe it or not, the first dream buster you must focus on and you deal with is the person you look at every day in the mirror. But we will talk ourselves out our best ideas. We will kill our own dreams. If your mindset is not one that says, "I gotta make this dream. This is something God gave to me." How do I know? How many of you have had at least one good idea in your life? Be honest, how many? Now, how many have had at least one good idea in your life? Okay, come on. Now, how many of you have talked you out of at least one good idea in your life. You told yourself you're too old, you're too young, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough education. We all have done that, but we have to overcome our self-limiting beliefs. That's why we got to work on our self-limiting focus and possibilities rather than our self-fulfilling possibility rather than our self-limiting beliefs. We got to get over them. So first is we got to overcome us. Then we got to overcome negative, small-minded, itty-bitty, petty thinking people who often are in our inner circle. People who we love and they love us too. Yeah, they're not trying to be mean-spirited. They just happen to suffer from possibility blindness. Yeah, they just happen to suffer from possibility blindness. Oh, what you want to do? You want to start a business? What? Really? You know, Uncle Bobby tried to start a business once. He ain't make it. He went bankrupt. You better stay where you at. Bless your heart. You want to go back to school? You know, I want to go back to school. When you say that? Aunt Sally tried to go back to school when she was older. She ain't make it. You better stay where you at. Bless your heart. People who are in your inner circle, you got to learn to leave them alone. Learn to love them from afar. Here's what is interesting though. They'll limit your possibilities on the front side, but when you achieve your amazing results, they'll say, wow, I knew it all along. I knew it all along. And just go along with it. So dream. Then you got to decide. So that goes with the decision part. You got to decide to leave these negative people alone. I remember when I used to be in a band. I played trumpet with the band. Now, I had been singing at school, at church. I had been singing in the glee club. And my parents said, why aren't you singing with that band? You play them little dances on the weekend. I said, yeah, really? They said, yeah, go ahead. And I went to band practice that night and said, guys, can I sing tonight? And everybody said, yeah, go ahead and sing. And I started singing and everybody said it sounded good except one guy. He was the lead singer. I thought he was my best friend. He was the lead singer. He started laughing. And then the mob mentality took over and everybody else started laughing. I felt about this big. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't let my buddy see me cry. So I walked over a corner and said, I'll never sing again as long as I live. And I kept that vow. I kept that vow for 3 years. I didn't sing at home, at school, at church. I would not even sing at people's birthday parties. But everybody sang happy birthday because I was ashamed. See, they had planted the seed, but I watered it. I fertilized it. And in my mind, it wasn't a little seedling. It was a redwood tree. I didn't think I could sing. Well, 3 years went by, and one night I'm playing my trumpet in a nightclub. Band leader gets a note. Singer sick. Somebody got to sing. He looked around and said, somebody got to sing. He said, Willie, I like your speaking voice. Come on over here and sing. I said, no, I can't sing. No, come on, man. Come on and sing. I said, no, I can't sing. He said, no, come on, man. You can do it. I said, I'm not singing for you or nobody else. He said, who you getting an attitude with? I said, I ain't singing for you or nobody else. He said, oh, yeah, you are now. I said, no, I'm not. He said, sing. No, sing. No, sing. No, sing. He said, you either sing or you fired. At that point, it became an easy choice. I closed my eyes and sang as loud as I could, and as strong as I could. And when I opened my eyes, people would start dancing with just looking. And I sang and they clapped. And I sang and they clapped and they clapped and they clapped and they clapped. End of the night, people were lined up here, lined up there, lined up over here, asking me, could I sing at their wedding, at their graduation, at their reception, at this and that. Finally hit me like a ton of bricks. My friend had lied to me. Well, you've all heard me sing many, many times before. Even if you never physically seen me sing. You've heard my voice on jingles for Pizza Hut, making it great. We work well together. News for and you. BET, like entertainment TV. I sang jingles for Oldsmobile, Cadillac, Washington Gas, Pepco, 7-Eleven, cruise ships, news shows. I sang jingles, and then I went from singing jingles to singing and record deals. I had record deals with CBS Records and Mercury Records, and so then I went on to incorporate singing in my speaking and my programs, and I've been all over the globe speaking and singing, Kennedy Center, Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, because I stopped listening to the negative people. Decide to stay away from negative people. Decision is taken from the key Greek word to cut. You make an incision, you cut in. You make a decision, you cut off. If you're going to be all you can be and all you were born to be, you got to make that decision to leave negative people alone. So you got to dream. Then you got to decide. Then you got to do. If you're going to reach your destiny, it takes action. A vision without an action is an illusion. An action without a vision is mere confusion. But a vision and an action put together can give your life a transfusion. You must take action. Scripture says throughout, that God blesses those who are proactive, that take initiative. There's a lady with the issue of blood who could have said, well, I'm little, I'm small, there's this big crowd, but she pressed. That's what they said. She said, pressed through the crowd. She took action. And as a result, Jesus said, hey, somebody touched me. And his disciples said, what are you talking about, Lord? There's all this throng of people. Of course somebody touched you. No. This is an important point that many people blow by. He said, they touched me with intentionality. Oh man, okay, they touched me intentionally. There was a reason. They knew what they wanted. He said, who did it? And the lady sheepishly said, it was me. He said, your faith has made you well. Her action, her intentionality, she didn't just wait. Oh, look, it's over and over that faith without works is dead. You must act on your faith. The scripture says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, everyone seeks finds, everyone who knocks the door is open. Notice it says if you take this action, then you'll get this blessing. Most people receive not because they ask not, they seek not, they knock not, and then they wonder, why not? You must act. You must take action. Two little birds are sitting on a telephone wire. One of the little birds decides to fly away. How many little birds you got left? Two. What? Until you act on your decisions, nothing happens. You must act. What will get you going? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your intentions? Do you have them? Have you set your goals? I love this piece in my book, Setbacks Set Up for Comeback. One of my favorites. Most folks never know how fast they can swim until there are sharks pursuing them. But the one who succeeds in life's great race is the one who wisely sets the pace. Their pace is not set as fear requires. Their stroke is a product of their desires. As you're faced with oceans of decision, are you guided by fear or by vision? Have you set your goals? Are you trying to reach high marks? Or are you still waiting to see the sharks? Wow! Well, look here, folks. I'm encouraging you to set big, bold, and vivacious, what they call humongous goals. Now, most people don't set goals because they don't know how to set goals. Or they don't want to do the work. Let me coach you through this. That goal setting is critical. Intentionality is critical. Vision is critical to determining your destiny. Now, you might need help. It's okay. We all need help. See, there are only two ways to get to a goal. Mentors or mistakes. Write that one down. There are two ways to get to a goal. Mentors or mistakes. Now, if you don't quit, both will get you there. But one just gets you there so much quicker with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. That's why I always recommend you get mentors. Invest in yourself. Invest in mentors. Why? Because it shortens your learning curve. It shortens the, you can take the long road or you can take the course, the shorter route that the mentors say. I've been the long road. I know where the bumps and bruises are and the knots and the valleys and the gullies. But let me take you the other way. Find there's a better way, a shorter way, a more direct way. Oh yeah, I'll get me a mentor. I've gotten a mentor in my speaking business. I've gotten a mentor in so many businesses. I think about when I was a fairly new speaker, I was making then about $100 a speech. I kept hearing about this guy who was a millionaire maker. People would go to his programs and come out and make millions. They could go and broke, but he would change their thinking and mentor them. I kept hearing about this guy. I kept hearing this. So one day I called his office, and I said to the lady, "Is it true what I heard?" She said, "Yes. He makes millionaires." Yes. She said, "Here are a few people who came. They were broke when they came." She mentioned this one, that one, this. Oh my goodness! I know all those people. They're famous. They're millionaires. Wow. I said, okay. Well, I heard he had a seminar. She said we have one seminar left this year. We only got a couple seats left. I said, well, ma'am, I want one of those seats. Okay, I want one of those seats. When is it? Show me the date. I'm available. And then I'm thinking it's going to be, $700, $800, $900, maybe $1,000 for 3 days. I said, so let me know how much it is, and she said it's $10,000. I said, what would you say? She said $10,000. $10,000 for 3 days? In my mind, I'm saying to myself, forget that. I can learn that stuff at home on my own. But somewhere I had read this, and thank God I read, that there's a price for success. There's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not being willing to pay the price. There's a price to go to law school, medical school. There's a price to get an education or a skill or a trade. There's a price. And then there's a cost for not being willing to pay the price. The cost of staying the same. The cost of being in the same place next year that you are right now this year. Or that you're in the same place this year as you were this time next year. No growth, no improvement. You stay in the same place. Let me tell you something I know about everybody who's watching this right now. I know something about everybody. I know something about everybody. I know that you can make more money. Everybody who's watching, you can make more money. But not one of you can make more time. You got 24 hours a day, 1,440 minutes. You cannot, no matter what you do, make one more minute, one more second in that day. And when your time is up, your time is up. So you got to make the most of every minute you got. That's why I say you have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. But it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it, give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. Because you got to make the most of every minute. So I knew that there was a cost. So I said to that lady, ma'am, I don't quite have that money right now. I only had a couple $100 in my bank account. I'm going to send you a check as a deposit, and I'll send you the rest soon. I hung up the phone, and I went to work. I begged, I borrowed. I didn't steal, but I begged and borrowed, and I got that money up. And I went to that seminar, and I was there for 3 days. When I came back, I quickly made $100,000 because I had learned from a mentor how to do it. And the next time he had a seminar, I not only went, but I took my wife, and at this time, I was able to write a check for both of us, 20 grand, bam. And then when he went up to 15 grand a person, I wrote a check for 30 grand, bam. Because I wrote a check. I didn't have to beg, borrow. I wrote a check because he had taught me the principles of creating wealth. And so what I'm saying to you is this, that it's going to take the understanding that you dream, you decide, you do, and then you act on it. And you get some mentors or you get mistakes. I recommend mentors so that you will be able to maximize the gifts you have been given. And then you make a decision that you're going to be the best you can be. You're going to make a decision, you're going to grow you. you're going to develop you. Because great people, they give great service. Good people, well, they give good service. Mediocre people tend to give mediocre service because that's all they can. And negative people will mess up, kill, destroy, fool around with your company, your future, and your finances, and bankrupt you, either in your business or in your personal life. So you got to stay away from negative people. You got to pursue the great ones who can make the biggest difference in your life. And you want to become a great one. And one of the things you do to do that is you become a better leader. Now, how do you become a better leader? Because many people think, well, I'm not a leader. You know, Bishop Shirley's a leader, or Pastor Tim's a leader, or Bershon's a leader, or Bob's a leader, or Sally's a leader. No, I'm not. No. Leaders, you think what people are, many people think that leaders are born. No, leaders are developed. And everybody, including you, moi, everybody, have the seed for greatness and leadership in you. But it must be cultivated, it must be watered, it must be fertilized, it must be developed. How do I know? Because see, I was the half of the class in high school that made the top half possible. I was not on the honor roll by a long shot. And even when I got to college, I got into college, but I didn't do great there. I skated half the time, but I did enough to get by. But it wasn't leadership. It was doing enough to get by. I was like a C student. You know what a C is? You know what a C is? A C is the top of the bottom and the bottom of the top. It's average. The Bible talks about it being lukewarm. It's not neither hot nor cold. My God will spit it out. And that's where I was. I was a C student. The top of the bottom of the top. But one day, I decided this wasn't where I was supposed to be. And God impressed upon me that I could do more, I could be more. I started reading books, listening to audio tapes, hanging around people who were going places, doing things, changing my inputs. We write this one down. Your inputs determine your outputs. Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff in, out. What are you reading? What are you listening? What have you invested in? Have you invested in you? But you know, that's like, if you don't invest in you, that's like sitting in front of a fireplace saying, give me heat, and you haven't put any wood in. Come on now, you got to invest, you got to put in if you want something out. And so when I learned about the power of personal development, faith development, developing yourself, reading that word and knowing that word and the power of the word, and then enacting it and being intentional, things started changing. I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, I went to that seminar, but that was just the starting point. The books, look, I didn't have books. I got libraries throughout. Libraries. This is just a small portion. I got libraries over there. I got libraries in every part. I got libraries in the bathrooms. I got libraries in my house. I got thousands of books, thousands and thousands of books. And I haven't even gotten to all of them. But sometimes all I need is one line out of a book. And I'll open it and it's like, bam, that's it. Oh, that's all I need. Ooh, ouch. Ooh, that's good. That's something for me. I'm constantly reading more books. We went from a guy who was half the class that made the top half possible to somebody who's now on average reading about a book a week. My wife reads too. I can't keep up with her because she is voracious. But it changed our lives, changed our finances. There's a direct correlation between the books you read and the money you make. Leaders invest in themselves. They invest in their thinking. There's a direct correlation. If you ever go into a $10 million home, Jim Rohn used to say, if you ever go into a $10 million home, it always has a library. Now, the person who bought that $10 million home, did they buy it because it had a library? Or did their library allow them to buy it? Benjamin Franklin said the greatest investment you can ever make is the pennies you pour in your head will produce dollars that you can put in your bank account. So are you investing in yourself? Have you invested in your future, in your thinking? Have you gotten mentors? Are you serious? Are you serious about your success and your future and your possibility? You know, there was used to be a song by Stevie Wonder, and I think it was Jermaine Jackson. Serious. Baby, are you serious? You know, are you serious? Most people are seriously not serious, okay? They are seriously not serious. But when you get serious about being a good steward and doing all that God gave you, then you start to get closer to that dream, decide, do. And your destiny will come with it. But then it's going to be one more step. I've got to give you a fourth D. Yeah. You got to give me desire. Now, there are 3 Ds, but this one takes you over the top. Over the top. So you can get to the destiny. But this is over the top. Desire. How bad do you want it? He said, I'll give you the desires of your heart. Desires. Why would he say that? He'll give you the desires of your heart. What are your heart desires? To make a difference, to be an impacting person, to be a change agent, to be a world changer? What's your desire? And how bad do you want it? Imagine, if you would, one person wakes up around midnight, says, I want a soda. They walk to the refrigerator, no sodas. They walk to the window, open the shades, it's snowing. They go back to the refrigerator one more time, they look again, there are no sodas. They settle for a glass of water. And they go back to bed. Because they really didn't want that soda that bad. A second person wakes up around midnight, says, I want a soda, walk to the refrigerator, no sodas, walk to the window, open the shades, it's snowing. They put on a hat and coat, gloves, galoshes, walk a quarter mile to the corner store, but it's closed. They go back home and settle for a glass of orange juice. Because they really didn't want that soda that bad. A third person wakes up around midnight, says, I want a soda, walk to the refrigerator, no sodas, walk to the window, open the shades, it's snowing. They put on a hat and coat, gloves, galoshes, walk a quarter mile to the corner store, but it's closed. And then a half a mile to the grocery store, but it's closed. And then a mile to the gas station with the soda machine, but it's sold out. But that person keeps walking and trying and walking and trying and walking and trying until they get a soda. And if you go that far for a soda, how much further would you go for your dreams? That's a question only you can answer. But in the quest for success, that's an unavoidable question. Life is going to test you, try you, see if you're serious. Yeah, it's going to test you. And then you'll know if you're serious. Now, I was on a radio show one day. I gave that analogy. The host was quiet for a second, and he said, Willie, Jolley, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. Who's going to go out in a blizzard for a soda? That's ridiculous. My response was, you're right. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But only those who attempt the ridiculous achieve the spectacular. Only those who attempt the ridiculous achieve the spectacular. There's a story about a woman who was born in a house that was in poverty, didn't have running water, electricity. She was poor. She wanted to go to college, but everybody said, that's ridiculous. She said, I want to go to college. Ridiculous. Nobody from our community, our area, goes to college. But somehow she made up her mind. She went to college. She went to Tennessee State University. When she got to Tennessee State University, she said, I want to be on television and radio. That's ridiculous. You're not thin and svelte like the television people. You don't look nothing like somebody on television. She said, I'm going to be on television. She went on television in Baltimore, got a spot on television in Baltimore, reading the news. And then she said, I think I can do bigger. And she went to Chicago, and she met with a station manager and said, give me a shot. I won't let you down. And that station manager believed something in the way this woman was so committed and intentional and enforced in her thinking. He said, okay. And he was inspired. He put on television on AM Chicago. And then they put on the afternoon show, PM Chicago. And she was so popular, they changed the name of the show from the PM Chicago show to the Oprah Winfrey Show. But then she said, I don't just want to be in Chicago, I want to be national. That's ridiculous, Oprah. Phil Donahue owns National Talk, but she went after him. And not only did she beat him, she put him out of business. Then she said, I don't want to just be on television nationally. I want to be in a movie. She'd never been in a movie. But she read a script for a book called The Color Purple and said, I want to be in that movie. And she spoke it and started working on it. They said, that's ridiculous. You've never been in a movie, but she was in The Color Purple. And she was nominated for an Academy Award. Then she said, I don't just want to be on television now. I don't want to just be in the movies. I want to own the movie studios. That's ridiculous, Oprah. Women, a black woman owning a movie studio, ridiculous. But as you know, she got Harpo Productions and produced Dr. Phil and Rachel Ray and movies. And then she said, I don't want to just be on television and in a movie and own a movie studio, but I also want to own my own television network. Own network is here because she was willing to think ridiculous. And not only that, but I also want to have my own magazine. That's ridiculous, Oprah. But not only she have her own magazine, but she's on every cover. Ridiculous. My question to you is, how ridiculous can you think? How ridiculous can you dream? Can you dream? Are you willing to decide? And then are you committed to do? And have you made up your mind that you're going to put desire all over it and keep going with intentionality? If you do, you're going to be amazed how you will come upon that destiny that we talked about. Destiny is not a place to be wished upon. It is a place to be worked for. In my office, I have eagles all over the place. I got them all over, literally all over the place. I got one here, one there, one there, one here, got one over there, got one, two, got another couple there, got a couple more over there. I got about 10 eagles in here. And I got 10 eagles in here to remind me, to keep me reminded, to model the eagle. The eagle doesn't fly, you don't see them flying around with a whole bunch of chickens. They want to be amongst the eagles. Second thing about an eagle is that they are determined. They're determined. Now, an eagle versus an ostrich. Now, in the stormy times of life, an ostrich in the challenging times, this ostrich sticks his head in the ground and says, wake me when it's over. But an eagle does something very odd, does something very strange. When the storms rage, when stuff happens, when setbacks come upon you, the eagle takes flight. And it flies right into the face of the problem, in the face of the storm. And it fights through the storm. It perseveres through the storm. It persists through the storm till it's able to get above the storm. And then it can see clearly the whole picture in a clear mindset. I can see the whole picture now. I can see the whole picture. Yeah. Now I can see the panoramic view. I can see, there's a problem right here. Oh, there's a setback right here. There's a pandemic maybe right here. There's an economic downturn right here. There's job loss right here. There's financial instability right here. I see some problems right here, but I can see up the road. Oh, and I see up the road. And let me tell you what I see up the road. There's good up the road. There's good up the road. And what I'm saying to you here at the Stretch Conference today, there's a problem right here, but keep fighting. Keep striving, keep going, because there's good up the road. There's good up the road for you. If you don't stop, you will reach your destiny. You have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon you. You can't refuse it. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. I want to encourage you as we close out. I hopefully will see some of you at the VIP part. And if you're not registered for that, I think you might still be able to register for that. Well, we'll have some time question and answers, a real give and take, and I can get some of your questions answered. But I encourage you to be a blessing to this ministry, that Pastor Tim and Bishop Shirley's ministry. Be a blessing to them, and not just in terms of your time and talent, but also your treasure, because they have made a commitment to help grow more people. So bless them. As you give, so shall it be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, overflowing. And then make sure you go to wjspeaks.com/success and invest in your thinking, in your resources that will grow your thinking. Get that box. It will bless you. It will inspire you. And it's about 30 products. And last but not least, make a commitment that every day you're going to get a little better as you seek to do all God has called you to do and be all God has called you to be. And for sure, your best is yet to come. So that's what I say at the end of every show on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. Your best is yet to come. I said it again at the end of my XM show. Your best is yet to come, because I believe it. Your best is yet to come. There's good up the road. There's good up the road. Keep fighting, keep striving, keep working, because there's good up the road. Well, thank you for your time. I want to thank you for letting me be here. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. And I'll close today with one of my favorites from one of my books. It's a piece by Burton Braley that my friend Les Brown made popular. It says simply, if you want a thing bad enough, to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, then life seems useless and worthless without it. If you gladly sweat for it and fret for it, and you lose all of your terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, famine, nor doubt, sickness, the pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, our God, you'll surely get it. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Your best is yet to come. God bless you. Thank you for letting me be with you. Have a great day.